Jillian Mahen here for BTN.com. We are joined today by Wisconsin's head hockey coach, Tony Granato. And Tony, tell me a little bit about what it's like being back at your alma mater. You spent almost 3 decades in the NHL between coaching and playing. So what's it like being back in Madison?
I'm loving it. We came back, I guess, last May. I got the position. And I guess the first few months on the job, we're learning about the team, learning about the program and where it was and what direction we needed to take it. And I think it's gone really well. Obviously, the Big Ten season started now. We get a couple games under our belt with the series at Michigan, but we're in the middle of the season now. So it's the exciting part, all the stuff leading up to it's all great and everything else. But just to be back on campus and be part of the program has been very special for me.
What's your favorite part of working with college players?
Favorite part? I think there's a lot of them. I just think the younger kids coming in and just remembering and going through the experiences that I had as a college player and remembering what it was like, the thrill of putting on your school colors and playing for your university is a special time. I think most of the guys that play college hockey have aspirations of playing in the NHL, so I kind of go through the checklist of what they might be thinking at different times of the season, of their career, and during practices and things like that to hopefully help them and guide them in the right direction. But it's college athletics, and being part of the Big Ten and wearing a Wisconsin jersey is a tremendous honor, and there's a ton of pride that goes along with it. That's what I remember wearing it, and I think our guys have done a great job of what I like to say is, carrying on the tradition and history that all our alumni have set. This is a program that's been going for a long time at an elite level, and we have to be, as coaches and players, responsible for helping carrying that tradition on.
What would you say is the biggest difference between coaching NHL players and coaching college players?
Well, and it probably goes in with the first question you asked on which part I like. The 4 practices leading up to the weekend series is a chance that you can plan long term. You can take the bigger picture into play when you're preparing your practices and you're trying to work on your development, and you see a bigger picture more often in college than you do in the NHL. In the NHL, you're looking at the next game, who you're going to play, and how you're going to find a way to get 2 points. And you very rarely are able to talk about development and talk about long-term plans because it's such a day-to-day business that, you win a game today, you're in the playoffs. You lose a game tomorrow, you're out of the playoffs. And that grind and that mentality of and I guess it would be pressure of having to make the playoffs year in and year out with the parity that it is in the NHL. It's very hard to plan long term. And from our standpoint, we're here about development players. We're here to put an entertaining product on the ice, but we're looking out in the bigger picture of hopefully being able to develop our kids to have a chance, so when they do leave our program, that they'll have a chance to go on and move on to have a chance at pro hockey. So I think we get a bigger picture here, and that part's been a lot more fun.
So this one is very similar and kind of ties both of those questions together. But back when you were looking at this job and thinking about taking this position, what was it that appealed the most to you, aside from the fact that this is your alma mater?
Well, I think that all ties in the fact that I'm basically coming home, because this is where I played 83 to 87. My brother Donnie played the 4 years following that. My brother Robbie played following Donnie, and my cousin Kevin played following Robbie. So we had 15 straight years of someone being part of the program. I got a niece that's been playing already for 2 years here on the women's side of things. She's a junior here in Bailey-Wellhausen. So the program has always been in my heart. It's always been a big part of my family, and a program that we've, although we've gone away and played in the NHL, it's never left us. So that's probably was the biggest draw to come back, is that I felt like I was coming home. I felt like that I had never really left the program, and to be part of something, I guess, as a coaching staff. I got Donnie on staff with me. I got Mark Osicki on staff with me. I think working with those two on a common goal, on being part of something that we have so much pride in Badger hockey, that part has been really rewarding. And then the bigger picture is, I guess when you come back to coach at a university, you're not just coaching a hockey team. You're part of an athletic department and athletic staff that is responsible for a bigger picture and being a special part of the university and the experience of collegiate students and athletes. So I'm really, really excited where I'm at. I'm really excited on where our team's at. And I know after being, I guess, if you want to say on the job for half a year now, I am really happy that this thing has all worked out. It's everything and more that I thought it would be, and hopefully we can continue to get better and better and enjoy the experience more as we move forward.
Jillian Mahen here for BTN.com. We are joined by Wisconsin's head coach, Tony Granato, the coach of the men's hockey team. And Coach, your family has been very involved in hockey, as you have explained. But what was it like growing up, I guess, with so many hockey stars in your family?
Well, with the one we haven't talked about is Cammie, and Cammie had the good fortunes of playing in the first two Olympics for women's hockey. She was the captain of that first team that won a gold medal with the U.S. team. There was no college hockey at the University of Wisconsin at that time, or she would have been a Badger. And I don't mean to downgrade Providence, because she had a wonderful experience at Providence out east, but there was no Big Ten hockey back then for the women. So she loved Wisconsin. She used to come to quite a few of our games. She always dreamed of someday playing for, actually not Badger women's hockey, she wanted to play on the Badger men's team. So Badgers was a big part of her life growing up, watching all her brothers play here. But growing up in our family and having three brothers play Division I hockey here at Wisconsin, and a sister that played internationally and also college hockey as well was great for me. It's fun to be part of a family that we can kind of relate to each other on our day-to-day activities and what we encounter with the game of hockey, whether it be good or bad. We're there for each other. And we've also been able to experience so many fun things together. So I got to watch Cammie and Nagano win a gold medal. I got to watch Donnie win national championships. I got to watch my brother Robbie win championships as well. And I think those are the things as a family that you remember, like growing up, that you had opportunities to do things that we all shared in, which I guess we still talk about it and can be proud of some of the things that we were able to do together as a family.
In addition to being in your first year as a head coach at Wisconsin, you're also taking classes, including, and I read this, you're taking a coaching class. So tell me, why are you taking a coaching class? One might think that was already taken care of. You've learned all there is to know. So why are you taking a coaching class, and what's it like being back in classes?
Well, I can tell you that now that finals are done and I turned in all my papers and got all my exams done, I'm much more relaxed. And it's been a ton of fun. It's certainly challenging because, the job of coaching a program, there's a lot that goes into it from a time perspective on trying to prepare for practices and recruiting and everything else that goes along with it. And to add the classes to it, it makes that time management thing a little bit more difficult. But the good thing, I mentioned Donnie and Mark as the associate coaches who I can walk away from the office and leave them with the practice plan, leave them with the recruits, and not have to worry about it. I think that's the one thing that's really helped me been able to focus on school when I've needed to and done really well. Now that coaching class, and it's funny because everyone goes, why would you take a coaching class? And for me, it's been great. We're studying Phil Jackson. We went through Vince Lombardi. We've talked about a ton of other great leaders and coaches on what makes them so special. And for me, there's always things to learn. You're always, as a coach, looking for different ideas to reinforce what maybe you think, and also to bring up some creative ways of maybe making adjustments to your philosophies and styles as well. And we had a great class. We had a ton of interaction with other students, other professionals that are in the athletic department as well. Pete Miller was our professor, was a former basketball player at Notre Dame that played for great coaches and studied great coaches along the way too. So I loved being in it. And I think I brought a lot away from it, from the experience that I had in listening to all of it. And also too, just so you're aware of this, I'm going to make Donnie and Mark take that next year. I think it's a great class for coaches to just keep reminding yourself of other ways to always look to see if there's things you can add to your repertoire or learn from other people.
Well, in addition to an extensive coaching career in the NHL and now in college, you also have a pretty illustrious career playing in the NHL. You got to play with some of the greats, including the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Can you tell me what that was like?
I can, because when you're done playing and you look back on your career and you try to think of things that were special, it's funny because everyone thinks I think of a goal I scored or a game we won, and it's not. It's the players that I was fortunate enough to play with. And you mentioned Wayne. So I had 6.5 years in LA with Wayne. It was as rewarding of an experience as you could ever imagine. I think I took advantage of it from the standpoint of realizing just what you said, that he was the greatest player ever. And the part that I remember most was how much of a great teammate he was and how welcome he made you feel as part of the team. So he was our captain. He was a guy that from a leadership standpoint I learned a lot from, because he wasn't one of those captains that's telling everybody what to do and how to do it. He sat back and he allowed other players on that team and in that organization be leaders as well. And I think that's what great captains do, is they allow the leaders around them to implement and do what they do to help the team from a leadership side of things. And that's one thing Wayne always made me feel was comfortable in the role that I had, and encouraged me to be myself. And I learned a ton from him. It was a phenomenal experience. All those passes that he made to me that landed on my stick that I'm not sure how they quite got there were certainly a great part of it as well. But just having the opportunity to play with him and see what he was all about was an experience and something that I would look back and say on the top of my list of things that I've done in my life. I got a chance to play with Wayne for 6.5 years, so that was very, very special.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you so much for joining us and talking with us. Certainly an amazing career thus far, and excited to see what you're able to do here at your alma mater. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.